Good evening and welcome to the Financial Week. I'm Javon Keys. We begin with some news from the Bank of Jamaica. The BOJ has intervened in the foreign currency market for the third time since the start of the year. The flash sale operation saw the central bank offering $30 million to authorize dealers and cambios. 5 banks and 4 cambios were successful in the auction. Bank of Nova Scotia, JMMB, and NCB received the largest shares at a settlement price of $153.11. Now, on Thursday, the BOJ also pumped $30 million into the foreign currency market, and on January 6, $20 million was added. Now, the start of this year could be the start of your financial journey, and we're helping you to get some financial tips to help you become financially literate. Now, this week in our special feature, Cody and Barrett is looking at budgeting, how to categorize your expenses.
It's preached but hardly ever practiced. Budgeting. It's the foundation tool that is the key to money management. But according to budget coach Karen Clark, before creating a realistic budget, you must track your spending to determine how much money you actually spend monthly and where. Ideally, this should be done over the course of 3 months. Thereafter, you can begin creating your budget under 2 categories.
There's 2 types of expense categories. There is your fixed expense categories, which we all know how much we spend on rent, we know how much we spend on groceries, we know how much our car insurance is. However, our flexible expenses is really where we have the most control. So what would fall under flexible expense would be eating out, groceries, self-care, stuff like that, where you can either spend $20,000 eating out or $5,000 on eating out. So you have a lot of control there.
This is when you determine your needs versus your wants. Food is one of the largest expenses in a monthly budget, and often persons confuse or interchange its category.
You know you have groceries at home, you have food at home, you cook food Sunday, you have food in the fridge, but then you're leaving work late. Do you go home and warm up that food or cook something simple, or do you stop at KFC? So yes, we can't live without food, but in that situation, you're more acting on a want versus a need.
Another important category is miscellaneous. These are savings or emergency. With all the categories outlined, should there be a set amount of your income going to each?
So there are different budgetary rules. For example, you have some persons, our budget coach, that talk about the 50-30-20 rule, where 20% goes towards savings, 50% goes towards your utilities, and 30% goes towards whatever miscellaneous. But personally, it comes down to each individual.
And if you find that your fixed expenses are taking up more than 50% of your income,
you can look at cutting back. So if your rent is too expensive, or your mortgage is too expensive, or buying gas for your car is too much, maybe think about decreasing for a little bit while increasing your income. So it's no longer okay to only have a 9-to-5. You need to have a 9-to-5, a side business. You have to be investing in stocks and looking at real estate. You have to be looking at different sources of income. One income alone, you're going to be stressed. One income alone is not going to do it.
Join us next week as we help you to stick to your budget by explaining ways in which you can use to spend money wisely. Cody and Barrett, TVJ News.
Thank you so much, Cody. And now to some more company news. The third tranche of the Mayberry Investments bond offer has closed after being oversubscribed. The company notified the Jamaica Stock Exchange that it received applications in excess of the $1.25 billion it sought to raise. Tranches 1 and 2, however, remain open. Mayberry's bond offer is set to raise up to 7 billion Jamaican dollars, as last week the company extended the offer and exercised the option to upsize by $2 billion. The remaining tranches are set to close on or before January 20. The company plans to use the funds to support its margin book and other projects. And after today's intervention, the US dollar is being sold for an average $153.56. $116.84 is the going rate for the Canadian dollar, $185.73 for the pound, while it's costing an average $168.59 for the euro. The JSE index rose by 2,244 points today, while the junior market index declined by 38 points. Among the winners were JMMB Group's 7.35% cumulative redeemable preference shares, T-Tech, Stanley Motor, Margaritaville Turks and Caribbean Producers Jamaica, while on the losing side were Iron Rock Insurance, ISP Finance Services, Key Insurance Company, AMG Packaging and Paper Company, and Access Financial Services. And that's the Financial Week. I'm Javon Keys. Good evening.